30, and that was really a star performance from 11-6 down.
Because we're in the lower bracket, that's why I went with the low-cut shirt, Trav. I just thought I got to fit the occasion here, mate. Either way, like you say, flameZ had a super dominant performance on Ancient, and if he can continue that form into Mirage, I just don't see a world in which sYnck are going to be able to win this map off of OG, man. And OG really need this victory, right? They need to taste that sweet nectar of a win once again, because it's been a while. They need that confidence. They need that belief. And even if it's an incredibly tight game against sYnck, a win is a win.
A win is a win. A W is a W, and that's the most important thing. Anyway, Mirage is underway, and it's so often been the site of many flameZ and degster banger performances. So let's see if they can put that in once again today in an online environment. Cons with great utility, 3 pieces in fact, smoke, nade, and a flash as well. And watts has got a smoke of his own with that defuse kit. And the P250 will try and do some tapping away from Palace, as we so often see. And now OG will try and creep up connector to go for a bit of a split.
Yeah, sYnck are playing for the retake on that A bomb site, and it looks like they will have to commit to that as OG are gravitating in towards that A site, pincering their way through. Won't be any contest on the bomb plant. And all 10 players are going to be alive as that plant comes through. There's a kids in play. There's a healthy amount of utility here for sYnck as well. Let's see how they go about making the retake happen.
NEOFRAG is holding off from Ladderum as well. That removes Echo immediately. Now the cavalry will arrive through CT, and watts will pull out his utility just as he tries to go and smoke the bomb. degster pounces, and he gets 3 insta headshots. Nothing you can do about that. And OG will get the perfect start. And actually, in a carbon copy from the first pistol round on Ancient, degster gets 3 of them.
That's true, actually. Yeah, he had 3 kills with 4 points of health on that CT side pistol round of Ancient. OG open up their account first. Now, keep in mind, OG were down 6-11 at one point. They didn't drop a round thereafter, which means they won, 10 rounds in a row. We just continue to add to that tally. This is an 11th, so sYnck have got no momentum behind them right now. They're ice cold as things stand. They're going to force back after losing that round. flameZ catches Echo on the jump peak with the Mac-10. Oh man, aNdu's going to be in position. That's a gorgeous shot in response, but he'll go down straight afterwards. However, fejtZ is on the scene. Scout not the best weapon to have in this position, and that's exactly why.
Yeah, only gets a tag and no more. aNdu's shot with the deagle was very nice, but unfortunately he looked away for a split second, and then when he looked back, there was already a second player on the ground in front of him, which he wasn't expecting. degster will deal with watts nicely. That is the conversion dealt with. Now I just need to deal with the eco, and it'll be the classic 3-0 start. And it's kind of as expected so far. What do you think about OG as a team at the moment? Because as I said in our pre-game, which is quite a long time ago now, so I'll bring it up again. I really do feel like that niko being added back in is sort of a stopgap fix for longer term changes that need to be made.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that they can continue to compete at that tier 1 level unless they bring an established IGL into the mix. Sure, they'll beat teams in the tier 2, tier 3 space, no problem, but that'll just be reliant off of firepower alone. That's not going to be enough to continue to compete at that tier 1 level. So yeah, that's my biggest concern for OG. Is the rudder enough? Like, do they have enough of a direction? They're going into that RMR soon enough. Then they have IEM Rio afterwards. So there are a number of tier 1 events and a lot of competition coming their way. What do you think, Trav? Do you think they have what it takes to make it work with this group at that level?
I think they can. I think they can make the major. But other than that, I'm not sure how much they can really progress from there. I did like a little prediction selection video with like all the teams that are in the RMR. I'm just going to check exactly what I said. It's fejtZ like he will go down. Oh, okay, nice shot. One more peak will come through though, and he will go down. So yeah, I made a prediction in the RMR. I think it's RMR A, I believe.
Yes,
I picked Navi, FaZe, Outsiders, and Mouse. Obviously now VP. VP and Mouse to be legends. I picked Fnatic, BNE, OG, and Gamer Legion to make challengers. And I picked Apex, Falcons, and OneWin to make the LCQ over the likes of Saw and Sprout. So we'll have to see how that one goes. But yeah, in my opinion at the moment is that they can make the major, at least challengers. But more than that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that assessment. niko on the jump spot sees a player getting aggressive, doesn't realize that cons is super close though, and cons just forces the issue. But I think off the back of that, OG just gonna look to try and force their way into this B bomb site. eku is in a forward position on the opposite side. The smoke completely blinded up though. Great utility usage coming through from OG, and that's gonna be enough to win the round. sYnck 3 versus 4. Surely they count themselves out of this. Because if all three players stay alive, then they can afford to invest into the next, Trav.
Yeah. That was Cons' one chance. That little tiny gap there he had for 5 seconds. If he got a kill, then they would most certainly consider a 3v3 retake. But now his position is known. They're not going to fight for it anymore. And they're going to be saving with all 3. And if they do save with all 3, they can at least get some form of a decent buy in this following round. They're going to have probably an MP9 and a FAMAS or something. But still, they'll have at least 3 rifles. So OG continuing to show their superiority, and we have to now continue to keep counting, of course, because it was 11-6 to sYnck on Ancient,
Yep.
and 10 rounds in a row were won by OG to win that 16-11. This is now 4 rounds in a row, so we've now gone 14-0 since sYnck last won a round.
That is, that's problematic to say the least. And it's just that OG have been looking increasingly better and better as these rounds have been going on, right? More confidence, individuals are looking more dialed in, and it's a well-rounded team performance. 4 of their players all sit on 4 kills right now. NEOFRAG, where he just had that one clean tap with the Glock, hasn't had to do anything else, hasn't even died, so yeah, this is getting concerning. This is the moment sYnck need to stand up. Still early days on Mirage, but when you keep in mind what happened at the end of the previous map, they need to make a statement. They need to show that they have what it takes to compete in this first half on their CT side. OG have a 57% win rate on their T side of Mirage, by the way, so this is going to be really difficult for the CTs.
Yeah, indeed. NEOFRAG once again hit his entry toward Cons, the IGL, and aNdu is just climbing up on top of the boxes in mid on the short railing. He taps away at niko and even drops down and finds NEOFRAG as well. That's a really nice response from aNdu. Important frags to take.
Big kill. Really big kill out of fejtZ. Just brings the round back into even keel.
Didn't need to
He
pick
squandered
that,
the
aNdu.
opportunity a bit early onto aNdu. Absolutely. aNdu knew there was a player in Palace and he had a player underneath the balcony. So that's just an egregious peek coming through from him that costs him his life.
He was feeling it, wasn't he? After 2 kills, he's like, yes, I can get this 3rd as well. But sometimes you get bitten for that over-aggression. And he has been bitten by fejtZ this time. Exactly. Discipline. I mean, all these sort of small, tiny details are things that sYnck can learn from. No doubt. They're all small, tiny details, but they add up.
Absolutely. Now it looks like OG are going to be grouping up and heading into that B bomb site, splitting their way because flameZ has been able to get on towards Catwalk. This is where the lion's share of the defense does rest as things stand, though, for sYnck. Player in markets, and you got eku's on the platform outside of apartments, so he should be good for at least a kill at the bare minimum. As now that pressure will start to mount. eku, does he get spotted by the cat player? He does. That's going to give the information to the players coming out of apartments, but it doesn't make a difference.
Well done.
Great defense coming through from fejtZ and eku working in tandem.
Yep. If fejtZ wasn't there in the action and eku only got even 90 damage, let's say, on both those 2 players and went down for free, then there's still a chance that round would have gotten away from sYnck. But fejtZ was there to help out. He had the information. He knew the information. And 2 players was enough. fejtZ got 2. And eku managed to at least swing on toward degster and take him out. So it was clean in the end. Tactical timeout used for sYnck, which is not a bad time to use it, to be fair, after you've won your first round. Give yourself a little bit of time to think whether you want to change up a setup, whether you want to say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. OG, of course, have money. They have everything they could ever wish to have. Full utility on all of them. And the AWP on degster.
Actually, a point I forgot to make at the end of Ancient was that I don't think sYnck used a single tactical pause throughout their whole CT side after they lost all those rounds in a row.
Yep.
Finally, they've been able to break that sequence of 14 consecutive rounds for OG. They've won 1 back of their own. Don't think a round win here would be enough to force OG to eco. They'd probably piece together what they can. So there's still a bit of a mountain to climb here for sYnck before they are able to feel like they're in somewhat of a position of comfort.
flameZ advancing very far, and NEOFRAG is trying to do that as well, but he's already been tagged into 17, and if fejtZ actually goes for this wall bang, I'm pretty sure that AWP would take him out through that wall. I think
Right.
anywhere that would do enough damage. aNdu creeping up, and he has to deal with it nicely. But of course, now he knows where flameZ is, and that's a very hard angle to just swing upward directly to trade it, even though he's that low. So aNdu decides against it this time, and I would say that's probably
Normally
the right
the
decision.
CT in that position.
Yeah, exactly.
And as you say, it's so difficult for the T's coming through underpass to try and take the fight with that CT. So that's why aNdu thinks better of it. Retreats back into apartments. There's still actually a second player on that bomb site watching Catwalk. OG have just somewhat paused, but now start to make their way out of ramp. Two players working together. It's Watts who's going to have a job to do, and he's able to find a kill, nearly the second on Fiku as well. Dinks him down.
Yeah.
At least Fiku gets the trade, and now he's going to look for the plant.
Yeah, two players dink down to 15 HP now. So an interesting 3v3 to come our way. Eku, we only need one bullet to connect to deal with that one. But none will connect. So now the retake is on. All three CTs coming through from CT. But degster has the line, and he can most certainly step up from these positions. Great incendiary to put right there, though. That will force him into the open, and he only gets his one kill. And now flameZ and Fiku have those 15 points of health together, 30 combined, and there's the first foul. Now it's flameZ, though, and he can just continue to play time. There's a kit on Eku, and there is an HE grenade available, and he does avoid it, flameZ. He manages to get away with it, and he spams down Eku through the smoke. It's perfectly played from flameZ, and OG will reach 5.
So rough for sYnck. I mean, the low HP on both Fiku and flameZ in the 2v2 post plant seemed unwinnable. flameZ is able to avoid the might of the HE grenade, or should I say the nade doesn't actually make it as
1
deep
HP
as
it did.
Needed to. Oh,
it did 1
so
damage.
damn rough. That's really unfortunate, man. And then flameZ just gets that kill so calmly in the smoke. Normally you'd see players panicking, just transitioning left and right with the spray, but one burst to the right, one burst to the left, and he gets the kill.
Charge up mid, though, in the following round, and Eku and Watts will work together with that flashbang, and in the end, Watts actually gets his own kill toward A, but a good trade from flameZ, and now, a bit of a crossing across each other there. Awkward, with some team damage in the equation, but they've managed to wrestle a 4 versus 2, and that's a big miss from degster. Might be a chance here for sYnck to finish this one off, but aNdu again over peaks toward default, and they're giving degster free chances at these picks, so it's back into a 2v2 again, and niko can get the bomb down. degster gets another frag, and fejtZ is forced into the open by the Molotov. degster holds them at bay. It was flameZ in the previous, now it's degster. Triple for him, 8 kills on the board alongside flameZ. 6-1 for OG. The quality is shining through now.
And sYnck are being punished because they're playing as though they're playing against another tier 2 or tier 3 team where they can just swing out and take these fights, but OG will punish you. These guys are so supremely individually talented that you can't afford to give them these opportunities. That was a 4v2, Trav, and they didn't even get another kill after they had that massive advantage, and they knew where both of the remaining OG players were. So that's just an absolute gift coming through from sYnck. This is war, not love. Not supposed to be giving gifts to your opponents.
Valentine's Day is long gone on this year. It's a different type of day today, and maybe that's what they're kind of looking like at the moment.
Yeah, sYnck, egg on their face, unfortunately.
aNdu been hitting some nice shots in this game, and there you go, another one dig toward niko, but in the end, Cons can only go 1 for 1 as the molly from degster burns him out, but flameZ might not consider Eku up close. There we go, freebie. AK can be recovered as well. Can he hop away though? That's the question. He's going to smoke behind him, and he just plays with it for too long. Plays with it for way for too long. He had to jump out there towards short, even though he's being pressured from that position as well. He had to just take a gamble, fall back and play the corner in apartments rather than stay in the open. I think he just wasn't to know the second player was coming in. fejtZ has a chance here though. Toward empty pillar, not being checked, but unfortunately he can't complete Fiku. And Fiku will take the damage, and degster will get the kill. 4 more for degster.
Yeah, 12 and 2, Trav. flameZ is 8 and 4. They've got 20 kills between them in 8 rounds. We earmarked them as the 2 players coming into Mirage as well, the guys that would be the chief destroyers for OG, and it's absolutely proving to be the case.
Crazy, right? Sometimes we actually do know what we're talking about. It's rare.
It's rare, exactly, but it happens.
It happens. It happens.
Big gun round here for sYnck to just try and put a stop to the rot. Snowball in full effect, and they're going to aggress towards ramp. Flash forces them both off the angle. Flame swings out. He's got support there from NEOFRAG. They will be able to trade initially. eNEOFRAG doubles down, eventually falls to the no-scope, but he's done more damage. Watts locks down the site. Rare miss there from degster, costs him his life, and it's all on niko. But he's not alive for much longer either.
Good hold. Excellent hold from sYnck, and they would have been almost descended into a slight panic there once they lost that opening duel toward ramp. But of course they had the insurance policy of the second player being baited in, and the fact he gets 2 and dinks the third is absolutely spot on. Really good hold. And again, that will stop the OG rot. It was, as I mentioned, 14 rounds in a row when they were 4-0 up. Then sYnck finally won one, but another 2 in response. 16-1 it would have been if it was a full map of CS. And sYnck will finally get their second on Mirage. And it puts OG down to a bit of a weird force by now. 3 deagles and a Glil and an AK, and that might give Cons a chance to work some stuff out, but fejtZ just owns him from Palace. Watts needs at least 1 here.
And he will get it. NEOFRAG's not ready for him. Just about the timing on the peak. There we go, Watts. Gets that kill. fejtZ trades, though. He is the man on a mission right now. With that Desert Eagle, eventually will get cut down. But look at the rotations he's pulled over towards that A bomb site. There's nobody on the B side of the map right now. degster, get your knife out and run through. This is awkward for sYnck. Yes, they've got that man advantage, but it's going to be a challenging retake. At least there's kits, there's utility as well. They still have the advantage.
They do, and niko only has that deagle, but degster's got an AK, and he's been a monster so far. AWP or rifle. What can they get done in this round? 3 players coming in toward market. degster, niko looking for information first to activate degster's peak. And now the swing will come in. First headshot missed by niko, but degster will surely pounce at some point, and in we go. There's going to be a massive lineup, and he almost gets all 3 of them, but niko is still alive in the midst of all this, and look at the damage done to fejtZ. 36 health to spare, 1 body shot needed, but fejtZ recovers the situation. He's got a kit, he is fine, and sYnck scrape through it.
I think niko's logic is he's hoping he can peek out while fejtZ is looking to tap the bomb because he's heard the smoke has just been deployed.
Yes.
And then the normal players drop the smoke, tap the bomb, force the player out, and then get the kill as the CT. So niko's trying to get 1 step ahead there. Unfortunately, a little bit preemptive on the peak. fejtZ smartly trades the AWP for the rifle in that situation as well. Gives him a bit more maneuverability in the clutch. And OG now will have to bite the bullet and settle for a niko as sYnck muster up a 3rd round.
Yep. Good stuff from sYnck. Again, a kind of a wild situation which they managed to recover. And as you say, another sort of a half buy into action here, except for degster on the hero AK. He's brought to full with just the Kevlar, but niko with the Tech 9 peeking under already, under pressure, and eNEOFRAG, that's a brilliant hold. I think, I'm sure it was by luck or by judgment that he got that first kill toward NEOFRAG, but he got the double spray down and he makes it a 3rd as well. fejtZ will have this AK available to use, but of course he has no armor, and now he's down to 30 points of health. 2 players coming his way, and fejtZ will get it done. So that's the round sorted for sYnck. 3 players alive, good for their money, and OG can now rebuy back into it. But degster, of course, will only be on probably a Tech 9 or a Galil maybe if he wants to buy it down that low. So
I don't know, man. I'm dropping degster the AK here if I'm one of these OG players.
I think so too, but someone's going to be on a Mac 10 or something, so okay,
never mind.
Scout.
degster can go on the scout. That's fine. For degster, that's not even really much of a handicap, is it?
Not at all.
Okay, that's a couple of consecutive rounds coming through for sYnck. niko. Oh, he spots out fejtZ just as the smoke blooms. Able to inflict damage, but it's not going to result in the kill. It's actually going to be Watts who opens up first. Trades are the name of the game, and I don't think niko's detected as he's pushed into snipers so aggressively. Cons is going to be have to trade, and I think niko overplays his hand there. After they know he's in snipers, his presence alone would have been enough to actually have impact. Didn't need to continue to force the issue.
And now sYnck should have a nice insurance policy with the big flank coming in. fejtZ's trying to take a really aggressive angle to hit an insta headshot, but both of them are pretty low. 46 and 47 HP. aNdu, ooh, okay. He checks the wrong angle for a bit too long. Unknowingly gets swung by Flame. So 2 versus 2. eNEOFRAG has a kit and they have smokes available, so they should be okay for the defuse. But fejtZ's whiffed it, but they're peeking off each other really well. It has to be eNEOFRAG. 1 bullet needed to take him down, but he manages to do it again. Another close 1 versus 1, won by sYnck. They had trouble with these a lot yesterday against Cloud9. So many close rounds on Ancient. But this time on Mirage against OG, a couple are going their way, and it's giving them a sniff in this map.
And you know they're going to be feeling pumped. They're on boot camp right now. They're on the brink of being eliminated from the qualifier. You know they're hyped. Winning a round like that is going to do a lot for their confidence. Great effort there from flameZ. I mean, he does a huge amount of work in the post plant. It actually shouldn't have ever been winnable for OG, so the fact that they get it so close is actually pretty impressive. And yeah, they will go for the force here, and not even so much as a force, as a pretty decent investment. Couple Galils and a Mac 10 as well, but they have more than enough to make the round competitive. And when you look at sYnck's money, I mean, one round win here for OG would completely shatter that CT side's economy. However, if sYnck win this, it's 7-6. OG don't get a plant, then it's 7-all probably. Big defense on the B-bomb site required.
Yeah, and that's the issue. Oh, they're doing it really well, though. Again, aNdu gets himself 2, and he can just stick himself toward the back of the site. It's not to the light. It's actually eku who's still alive, but look at Cons. He's betwixt and between. He had a chance to cut off that final player coming through in niko, but niko destroys him. The only silver lining is that fejtZ has full vision on the bomb. And he will manage to deal with NEOFRAG as they try and collect it, and they know that niko was late apps. And they have 2 players now holding that line. And they're not going to be over-peaking this one. We saw them have a mistake against Shiro yesterday where they over-peaked it slightly. And that maybe is a little bit too overzealous from fejtZ. And he'll reface it again. This is the issue with sYnck. And yes, niko's done it again. 1 versus 2 for him. 3 kills in total. I mentioned sYnck and they're over-peaking. That was a little bit too much from fejtZ, I'm afraid.
Really good decision making from niko as well, right? And he was so composed in the situation because he knows that fejtZ is towards the market door, but he doesn't actually know where the second player is. As he steps out to force the fight on the first, he gets the information on the second, and then he has a clear path in his mind as to how he wants to approach the round. Successful clutch 1v2 for niko. And it's going to be a force back in response here from sYnck, so 10-5, very much up for the taking here if you're OG.
aNdu once again at least gets himself 1, but flameZ is once again going to get that trade. Great clutch from niko. The calm tapping away at the player playing that tight angle behind the shells, of course. Can be very hard to actually hit that headshot. But it shows they're cool and they're collected. And they've got a guaranteed lead at least on the half now at 8-5.
Everything just pauses for a little bit. OG start to shift their pieces around the map. Options available. Looks like they're just going to group up in connector. fejtZ coming through from ramp. And they're going to pincer their way in towards the safe site. sYnck do have some decent positions though, because Watts is slowly clearing out Palace, so at least that's a bit of a power position for him to play off of. Cons with the scouts landed the tag on fejtZ. That's going to be bringing Watts into the equation. Another tag from Cons. He's doing work right now with that scout.
Yeah, keep counting. flameZ and fejtZ now wounded, and Watts has not shown his hand from palace yet. This could be big, but he's whiffing his shots. Thankfully manages to get away with it, and flameZ will go down. But of course that AWP is now trained on that position, but that's a great shot from Cons. Deals with niko in the end. 3 versus 2, but of course lack of a kit. Thankfully, eku has picked up that AK. Now, actually, it's down to degster. He'll miss the first shot and needs to recover it, but he's missing every single shot right now. And Cons will hit both scout tags. sYnck get away with one, and that is a superb recovery. Free up on the ground, free AK, free Galil. 6 rounds.
I'd love to know how much damage Cons does in that round with the scout. He lands, I think, 5 shots, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
That was a really great round coming through from him, and sYnck will win their force buy, and it feels like that was a must-win round for them as well, right? We've seen a lot of impressive T-sides out of sYnck so far between yesterday's performance against Cloud9 and their first half of Ancient as well. So you got to back them to be competitive on their T-side of Mirage here as well.
Yeah, for sure. Still most certainly in this game. Especially if they win that second half pistol, we could be in for a bit more of a closer series. And the utility, as we said, for OG toward the end of the half, that round going awry. Final of the half coming in. It's not great. They have enough smokes, but they only have 1 Molotov and a few flashes. They have a couple of players without utility now as well, but if they hit the headshots, it doesn't matter. niko now is going to go for a peek, but aNdu is here, and they re-aggress brilliantly. 3 toward mid there for sYnck in the mid round, but look at flameZ. He's in the perfect position, and he gets both of them. Easy for flameZ. In the right place at the right time. And now Cons is 1v3.
The clue's in the name, Trap. flameZ.
Haha.
Let's get those easies in chat for flameZ, as we do see cons trying to touch it out. He was great in the previous round, but too easy for the Israeli rifler. 9-6, great halftime scoreline coming through for OG. Quick break, and then the second half of the second map.
OG 9-6 up on map 2. It was sYnck who were 9-6 up on the previous map, and they went on to lose. Can they flip the script this time around and get themselves a third map decider, Hayes?
They have to. They have to if they want to keep their hopes alive of qualifying for Dallas. There's no two ways about it. This is the lower bracket. Fiku in apartments has some support. Flashbang thrown through. aNdu completely unaffected. Now it's on niko to try and lock down the sites and at least get a kill for his team, but that's not going to happen. Great execute coming through from sYnck, and aNdu tapping away will take down degster as well. This pistol round is done and dusted.
aNdu
might as well save your Kevlar at this point. Yeah, and why not? Can't blame him.
Freebie for cons as flameZ drops down into mid, and aNdu will finally get taken down. But it's NEOFRAG 1 versus 5. And he's obviously going to be looking for this flank right now. Cons is here. Information spotted. And that is a headshot hit. Spam will come through, but the headshot doesn't do as much damage as Cons actually thinks it has. So NEOFRAG will get away with it. Looking for bonus cash, of course. Is there anything he really can do now? Give him some more chance at extra force buy. That's a beautiful shot on toward fejtZ. But finally he'll go down. 3 kills at least will boost his cash up to 2,950 instead. So he can maybe even buy a FAMAS if he wants to. Let's see what OG's plan is. But that's a great start to the second half for sYnck. And you mentioned their T-sides. Let's see how they get it into action.
I'm actually backing them here, Trav. I really am backing sYnck to win from here on the second map. Keep in mind that OG were up, what was it? I think 7-1 at one point. Yeah, it was. It was 7-1 at one point on their T side, which means they've only won 2 of the next, like 8 rounds or something like that. So it's heavily been favoring sYnck in the past few rounds. Now they have to overcome the force buy, and then they're going to have pretty much a free path to level up that scoreline.
Indeed.
The main challenge they're going to have to overcome here is going to be degster Zorp on the CT side.
Absolutely. He had a fantastic first half, did degster. 16 kills for him. Had a few whiffs at the end of the half, but overall he was absolutely solid. And at one point I think he was like 13-3, so had a fantastic start. And sYnck are taking this one slowly. I don't mind that at all. Good protocols, just making sure they put all their utility in the right place. All the Molotovs clearing out the cubbies. NEOFRAG will have to fall away. He tries to go back into his position, but he'll be spotted out by fejtZ nicely. Good information.
Yeah. Hoping to tuck in there again after the molly had forced him out, and then potentially goes uncleared, but it's actually going to be the B-bomb site that receives the lion's share of the aggression. NEOFRAG spots out 2. fejtZ tries to jump into him, and while he will go down, his teammate trades. Now, it is actually going to be another kill over on that B side of the map. There's only 32 seconds left here. Who's carrying the bomb? That's aNdu. He's waiting for Cons to try and alleviate some of that pressure coming through from Catwalk. The problem is that watts is completely cleared out A. Is there time? I think if they go down lowers with that bomb, yeah, there certainly is, and that's exactly what watts has realized. Huge kill out of, excuse me, not watts has realized, aNdu's realized, and I think they should win the round from here. fejtZ needs to try and lock it down. Misses his first shot. Damage on the second peak. More damage to come through. Now it's going to be degster peeking from Cat. He needs to deny the bomb plant, but he can't because smartly aNdu is tucked behind triple. So much damage being done right now. fejtZ with the Desert Eagle lands the shot on aNdu. What's left remaining? Steps into his crosshair, but crouches underneath and will get the kill.
Oh, that's so squeaky. So squeaky for sYnck, but they managed to get it done. I thought for sure when fejtZ was staying patient, holding his line, not budging toward jungle like he was, that he would get that one bullet required toward watts. But no, watts manages to get him done, and they'll get away with the situation. Great damage from OG, and as you mentioned, there were just so many players in the midst of the play, in between the sYnck players, and they were trying to cross back toward the A-bomb site after it had been cleared out. And that's what was so spooky about that one, but they get it done.
OG don't have much going for them here this time round. A couple Desert Eagles outside of that USPs. sYnck to level up the scoreline from being down 7-1, tying it up at 9-all, heading into that first gun round. degster will afford his AWP. That's going to be the main hurdle here for sYnck to try and deal with on their T side. And looking at their money, 2 kills here for OG would go a long way.
Yeah, of course. OG will be the first to be aware of how much damage they've done in the previous round. So if they can keep sYnck honest in this one as well, it'll keep their money honest as well. NEOFRAG already tagged down to 28, so they can try and fire off from stairs, but he's now tagged down incredibly low, and Echo is just holding under window for any aggression. There are 2 more players in mid, however, and NEOFRAG will get that one done. But fejtZ should easily get both these kills. He does. 2 headshots on the spray down, 3 in total for him. Consistently been great over these 2 days for sYnck. Had a great map against Cloud9 on Ancient. fejtZ might be able to take him down though if he exposes himself for a split second. Again, as you said, 1 more kill would be pretty nice, but he can't get it done. Cons will finish it off, and that's important for sYnck to build some money up. 9 rounds apiece.
As expected. Going into that round at least. I wonder if OG are feeling a little bit of pressure here at 9-all. I did mention that a win is a win, and it doesn't really matter how it comes for OG. However, I don't think it'll do their confidence a huge amount of good if they get pushed the distance by sYnck, you know, pushed to a 3rd map, maybe a close affair. Doesn't really inspire a huge amount of confidence going forward into the rest of the qualifier.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what I mentioned in the pre-game, right? Like, it's hard to really feel where OG are right now when they brought niko back in. Felt like Nexa was quite a significant identity piece to this roster. And without him, it feels a bit lost sometimes against the top teams. Good flash. That'll blind up fejtZ entirely. And actually, he'll have to show his hand by spraying there. Not realising if he's being pushed or not. Actually, both the sYnck players dropped into an underpass, funnily enough.
Your stock standard setup. fejtZ has gotten aggressive in apartments, so he's got a lot of information and control to relay through for his teammates. Re-smoking bottom of connector does give flameZ a bit of room to maneuver. Cons has gone into snipers though. This is a big point of contention, especially because two players have gone down in the process. Great awareness from niko. Yeah, 100%. Great presence of mind.
2 versus 3. Nice shot from watts, but unfortunately he's low and time is a bit of an issue. fejtZ needs to step up here somehow, but oh, okay. flameZ in the open and watts has hit another headshot, but of course we all know how wall bangable triple is, and in comes the nade. Fortunately they managed to avoid it, but in the end it's actually fejtZ, a high HP player, to go down. And watts is 1v2 with the AWP. Oh, they're actually lining up at the bottom of connector. Imagine if he actually shot that one bullet. I would have loved to have known if that would have got him both kills. But as it is, he goes down.
You think about the trajectory, you know, he's aiming slightly downwards. They were both crouched behind each other. I think that would line up for a collateral there. niko quicker on the trigger, and thankfully for him, watts didn't have much health, so one bullet gets the job done. But look at the investment here for both teams. You've got 2 Galils on sYnck, 2 FAMASas on OG. Neither team with a favorable buy.
No.
And whoever loses this has no money going into the next.
Absolutely right. And it's, again, the difference of fractions, right? If watts was, say, 30 health, you could have taken 1 bullet and maybe shot that AWP. And it could have been a different outcome to the round.
Such a narrow margin. niko should find the opening pick up, sprayed through the smoke. A lot of damage done, finishes off that frag. There is a trade though, and niko's going to be feeling that heat, feeling the pressure, but he's able to stand tall. Now it's just about staying alive because he's buying so much time. He was always going to go down there, but he's bought extra time before that bomb plant was able to come through, which they're actually still struggling for right now. They're going for the fights, and they're working out wonderfully. Okay, they didn't even need to get the plant at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's actually kind of crazy. I mean, that, as you mentioned, niko wasting so much time after getting his 2k towards CT. It activated the rest of the OG players to be there in the action very, very quickly. But in the end, they all fought together. And they all lost their duel one by one. So maybe playing it a bit slower for those final 3 remaining OG players would have been the better idea, with the lack of that bomb plant. Didn't need to go in so quickly. But of course, we're all experts after the event.
Yeah, that's true. Hindsight has got all the vision. Is going to be sYnck, who now look to gain themselves the lead for the first time on the map. You also backing sYnck to win it from here on Mirage, Trav?
I have a feeling, I have a sneaky feeling that after how good their T sides have been the last few days, I don't think they've actually... Am I right in saying, as the eco looks like it will be cleaned up here, just make doubly sure of that. Tapping with the pistol, degster with the PT-50, okay, he's found. That was probably the biggest threat on the site. Yeah, they're fine. Am I correct in saying that sYnck have won every single T side they've played in this tournament? I think so.
Don't think so.
12-3, 9-6 against Cloud9. They won both T sides yesterday. Or was that a CT half?
That was yesterday? A CT on. Yeah, that was a CT half on Vertigo.
Damn.
Yeah, that was the one I was sort of thinking in my mind now. I'm pretty sure Vertigo T side they lost it, but still, they won their T side on Ancient both times.
Yes.
And they're looking really good on their T side here on Mirage. So that's 3 out of 4. Still a great result.
Yeah, not bad. I wasn't too far off. And I was correct that they won the half, at least.
Yeah,
they switched over to CT. But yeah, close.
And they didn't get to play out their full T side either, right? Did they?
Yeah.
Oh no, that was their first half. I don't know. Trav,
well, you know what I meant.
There's a lot of Counter-Strike going on at the moment.
There is. You know what I meant.
And that's a clean round from sYnck. Yeah, absolutely. They keep 4 players alive, start to build up a bit of cash, and they've got themselves the lead. This is the round that OG have to win. And you're like, come on, Hayes, it's 11-10. It's not like it's the end of the world if they lose this round. It's not just that, Anon. It's the fact that they've got no momentum behind them, Trav.
Yeah, exactly. That is the issue. OG... This is a must-win buy round. Even though it's only 11-10, you kind of feel that way with the economy as it is. degster on the AWP, which is a good thing, and they've all got a good utility, so this is the big one for OG. fejtZ will have to retreat slightly off the edge of his balcony as that Molotov spreads slightly. He will re-smoke it. Two smokes come flying in now from mid, as you can see. One in toward window and one toward jungle, and then the extra one, and that is a miss, I believe. Yep, there it is. It's on bench for no good reason.
And it means it's going to be a bit more difficult to try and cross in towards that A bomb side. Cons does damage, but receives quite a lot in the meantime. But a flurry of frags back and forth between both teams. But eventually, sYnck will separate themselves from OG. They get 2 extra kills. It's only degster left, and that A bomb side's completely capitulated.
It's fallen apart. And that was actually really interesting, right? Because I think they realised that smoke had missed at that particular stage of the round. And at that point, it looked like, even though they lost a few picks, they kind of paused. And I'm not sure necessarily if it was an intentional pause or not. It was only a pause for like barely even 3 or 4 seconds. But it was a pause long enough to leave OG in a second of repositioning and reorganisation. Yeah. They pounced at a kind of unexpected time, and all the kills went their way. It was a 4 for 2 after that.
That's a great point that you make, because it was so impressive that they were able to just pause amongst all the chaos. So much composure, just to put the brakes on, pump the brakes ever so slightly, regather themselves, figure out what the blueprint was, and then go through from there. And it caught OG completely off guard. 12-10. sYnck now just 4 rounds away. The next is going to be an eco as well. And it's not even like these rounds that they've been winning on the T side have been incredibly hard fought, difficult rounds. They've been pretty clean cut, keeping numbers alive consistently, in good positions, finding opening picks as well.
Yeah. And now we have to look at how important those few clutches were on their CT side in a row. Like, it was the ones that I think got them to within 2 rounds, like 7-5 or something. That was actually, it makes a huge difference now at this sort of stage of the game. Could have been a flip script, could have been 12-10 OG rather than 12-10 sYnck. Those clutches were humongous. And now they're in a really good position to maybe win a map in this qualifier. That was surely would have been their goal against the teams they were playing. They are confident in themselves. We saw that against Cloud9, but to win a map in both their matches, hard against C9 as it proved to be, but they got ever so close on Ancient. Can they get one against OG?
It's all on degster here in this round. He has to be the hero. 4 players in towards middle, essentially for the CT side. Watts peeks out. He sees 2 of them, and that's going to be prompting sYnck to start to commit in towards B. At this point, Watts is just trying to buy as much time as he can. He gets a kill as well. Oh no, NEOFRAG. You can't afford to miss those shots. He had to get the kill. That would have been a rifle. It's still fejtZ on the side, but he's gone down as well, and degster has no option but to head for the hills. And it's not even like that would have drastically impacted the outcome of the round, but it's just damage at least, man.
Yeah, I know. Every little helps. And once again, degster is forced to try and save the AWP. So, sYnck, 13-10. Their economy is certainly in a very good state. They're going to have a few buys in arrears, even if they do lose a couple of close rounds in a row. Getting interesting. Getting spooky for OG. And look at this. Watts is shifting his way through. He might actually catch degster in the side here. It's going to be pretty close. Spots him. Looks for him. degster's aware, thankfully. And this AWP is such an important save. He'd be able to rebuy one anyway, but just having that extra cash in the bank is critical at this stage.
Yeah, going forward into the rounds after this 13-10, sYnck are on the brink of winning their opponent's map pick. Beating OG on Mirage. That would just be a resounding result. I mean, OG on the map lost 16-14 to NIP yesterday. 2 days before that, they beat NIP 16-10. A couple of weeks before that, they lost to NIP 22-18. So, they even beat Aurora 16-5, for God's sake. And Aurora, at that time, were touted as the best Tier 2 team. So, this is just such an anomaly of a result coming through for OG right now, man.
Online CS. Just online CS things. But
One
even
hell of
though
a drug,
that's...
right?
It is a hell of a drug. But while we do say that, we just can't take away from how good this has been from sYnck. Just so good.
Yes.
for what can only be described as a tier 3 team. It would do other tier 2 teams a disservice to call sYnck tier 2, but this sort of performance might start classing them as tier 2. It's as simple as that. That's what it can do. And yeah, I mean, as we mentioned in yesterday, sYnck, their wins to actually get through to the close qualifier weren't actually hugely impressive. It was Trick to scaling back their operations as an organisation, LaserCats, and then 9 Pandas, sYnck's team, which none of them are really properly tier 2 teams, I would say. So, yeah, this would be superb, and that's a nice position from watts as well. He's 22 and 14. He struggled a bit against Cloud9 yesterday. He's been brilliant today. And NEOFRAG going searching toward ramp is removed already.
Problematic to say the least. In such an important round here for OG, means that they have to potentially make a move elsewhere on the map to try and rectify their disadvantageous position. It's fejtZ who's pushed into a slightly forward position in apartments, himself and Eku on opposite sides of the angle as things stand. And it looks like the bomb's heading in that direction. And look at the way OG are set up right now, Trav. They've got 2 players deep, CT, 1 in Palace. They are not at all prepared to deal with the B execute. Oh. And fejtZ has fallen without a single kill. That's the end of the round and the end of the world for OG.
Oh my goodness. How has fejtZ not gone at least 1 for 1 there? That's a reaction to dream of for Eku. And that's going to make it 14-10. They're creeping ever closer. The closest they got was that overtime against Cloud9 on Ancient, but this is now a more promising position than they've ever been in so far in this qualifier. And it makes you wonder, right? I mean, we've been speaking about OG and their frailties, of course. What's your opinion on like their ranking, full stop, right? Because I feel like that it can be a bit inflated with them having, you know, partner slots with Blast and stuff like that. So I wonder whether overall they're not really as good as the sum of their parts.
Yeah, no, how accurate that ranking is probably subject to some questioning. And you look at the names on the team, they've got phenomenal parts, but it's just maybe lacking that rudder, as we sort of suggested throughout the game. And I did say firepower alone should be enough for them to win the series. But to qualify for Dallas, considering the level of competition,
imagine.
Based on what we've seen so far from them out of this matchup, surely there's just that would just be crazy if they could qualify for Dallas.
Yeah, I think right now I would edge on the side of neither of these 2 teams qualifying, but I'm actually more impressed with sYnck in general than OG
Me too, for
at
sure.
the moment.
Comes down to the level of expectation we had as well.
Of course.
Godsent have also been performing phenomenally well.
Yeah.
They're currently leading Astralis 1-0 in that series. Down 8-3 on the second map. Spirit leading Fnatic 12-3 on the second map after they lost the first map as well. All teams who won the first map are actually behind in the second, Trav. But all 4 games, that is the common denominator.
All 4 games, you're absolutely right. Even Cloud9 and NIP is following that trend as well. NIP 7-4 up in map 2 after Cloud9 took map 1, of course. A rematch. Cloud9 and NIP playing each other twice in 2 days in 2 separate events. Right. What do we have here for sYnck? Is this an old-fashioned A fake? Utility is being thrown over toward that side of the map. The bomb is still in spawn, so I'm not entirely sure what their plan is just yet. They are now walking players back toward B apartments. But that hasn't really forced any rotations for OG. They're going to boost a player up on the balcony as they walk 2 through underpass.
I wonder if OG got a bit ahead of themselves at 7-1, if they thought they'd probably finished off the job and won the series. fejtZ good for a kill this fejtZ at least. It's going to be niko who's kind of baited in off the back of that. No way as a T-side you're expecting a second player, not out in the open like that. And actually, for the first time in what feels like an absolute age, OG have a man advantage.
Very true. Very true.
They don't have to do anything from here. Now they can just sit posted up on the angles and wait for sYnck to make the next move. Estonian team certainly should go for this. You look at the money in play. They've got heaps of cash behind them. You've got Cons who's in snipers right now, but flameZ actually pivots ready for it. He's going to get both of those kills. I have no idea how he finds 2 kills from that position. I think if the connected player was just a little bit more patient, then Cons backstabs and probably gets that kill for free onto flameZ.
Oh,
Who will
great
finish
hold.
off the round? Wow, yeah, phenomenal hold coming out of him.
They need some of that star power now. flameZ is the one that dropped 30 on map 1, so they need some of that now to recover from this deficit.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the money here, though. Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, I was just looking through some of the matches that sYnck played that were off HLTV, because obviously I made a point to follow some of the matches that were in the open qualifier itself, and yeah, it was pretty fascinating to see some of those. I'll get back into that in a minute, because we've got an execute coming in for sYnck. It's a very fast one, and degster's going to be caught in the middle of nowhere, and fejtZ will take NEOFRAG to the edge of a smoke as well. So again, it's only 2 picks that could keep OG at bay. 3v4. 15-11 is within reach unless flameZ' flank can do something ridiculous.
And you've already got fejtZ who's posted up on that angle with the AWP, and because they have that luxury of the man advantage, they can hard commit someone to watching the flank. Cons will exchange positions with him. Does flameZ clear this cubby? He does. He gets the kill. That's going to be putting the rest of his team on notice, and that pulls fejtZ off the angle. flameZ is actually going to allow for his teammate to get the kill with the H grenade. It's all on Echo to clutch 1 versus 2 out in the open, spraying away. He'll go down to niko.
Huge.
There's a defuse kit in play, and that is a mammoth round win for OG.
Oh, that's one that really shouldn't have gone OG's way. We've seen a few that shouldn't have gone sYnck's way, that went their way, and now it's a bit of a flip. And OG need it at this stage. The silver lining for sYnck is their money is really, really good. Even with this buy coming in here, I think they have enough for another, even if they lose the next round. I mean, if this pattern continues, they could be really low on cash at such a critical stage, like 14-13, 14-14, for example. So, yeah, I think 14-14, if they lose these next couple of rounds, they would be out of money. So that could be a nightmarish situation for them. Can they hold OG at bay and at arm's length?
I think sYnck are going to start to sweat if they lose this round here. That's when it starts to become a little bit concerning, but I still have full faith. These guys have shown so much mental resilience and fortitude in the games we've seen out of them so far. Where do they go from here, Trav? They're going to be kicking themselves that they weren't able to win the previous round. degster, that is a bold play to make, just peeking out on that timing. No support util, no flash for him to peek out off of either. Steps into his death. And that's another opening pick for the T side. Hasn't been a rare one.
No. I had a quick look, and probably the most impressive team that sYnck actually beat in that open qualifier that I actually did have a quick glance at, just slipped my memory, was actually Copenhagen flameZ. They beat in that first open qualifier, which obviously Copenhagen flameZ aren't what they once were with Regali, but still, it's a good win. And they proved that by continuing that best of 1 streak to actually make it here. And right now, Cons is going to out-AWP NEOFRAG as well. niko's in a great position to stop that lurk from being a possibility. But again, flameZ is flanking. Are they going to fall foul of this 2 rounds in a row? 20 seconds in the round, and they're not glancing at it whatsoever. niko showing presence, but watts glances it at the last second. That is humongous. And Cons has dealt with Fiku's rotation as well. It's niko 1v3.
Cons is the hero. Cons has got the job done. Not even the standard AWPer for the team, but my goodness has he been impressive in this round with 3 kills to his name. First frag found on degster, and then just alleviating the pressure as he opens up the A-bomb site as well. Only niko left, but I mean, he needs some sort of rush magic here to clutch this one out because there's no chance. Did you see that rush clutch against Furia? Or it wasn't a clutch, I suppose. It was Rush and Junior in the 2v3 retake.
Was it like a fadeaway smoke shot or something?
Yeah, so they were actually saving, and he just spams through the smoke, and he gets 2 kills. And then they're like, all right, maybe we should go for this.
Right.
And yeah, they actually won that round and then won the deciding map from there. Not going to happen for niko, unfortunately. 15-12, sYnck find themselves on map point.
Yeah,
it's their first map point of the closed qualifier.
That is true, actually. That is a very good point. I haven't been in this situation before. Can they get it over the line? I don't mind that decision from niko, by the way. I think that was actually not a bad choice. He had enough money anyway. Might as well look to try and take down the sYnck players after time. It could be impactful if it somehow got to 15-14 instead. The long-term benefits of going for that, it was worth a gamble. But this is the round for sYnck. They've got a couple to play with, but they've got their best opportunity right here, right now. Get it done as quickly as possible, and don't let the nerves get the better of you. We'd be heading to Inferno if sYnck were to get this over the line.
Get another change up in their approach. They've just got so much depth to their T side. So impressive. So many layers. And that's what's made it really challenging for OG to try and figure out what sort of a setup to employ. Again, sYnck show a lot of presence in towards middle and then completely disembark. All 4 players now going to group up and head in towards that A ramp area. They've been very successful over towards A. It's proven to be a fruitful bomb site for them so far throughout the half, so it makes sense that they end up here once again.
Yep. Let's see. They can close it off. NEOFRAG aggressive toward Palace. That catches Watts off guard. That's a good place to be. Now degster's in the perfect place as well. That drops the bomb, but he does get traded by aNdu. The problem is that NEOFRAG is still a massive issue. And now, 2v4, you'd think it's very hard to fight your way through. And flameZ will win the tap battles on the bottom of Con. fejtZ gets the last. And OG are still alive and trucking. Buy available, but do you want to go for it with eku on 1750? Do you play for round 30 or do you go in right now? And the answer is they're going in for it right now. Or if they lose this one, they're going to be on nothing on in the round 30 if they lose.
They had one last look at their cards, and then they pushed all their chips into the middle of the table, Trav.
Yep.
Lose this, they've only got a $1,900 round loss bonus behind them. And OT, almost a foregone conclusion at this point. And that would just be a disaster, wouldn't it, for sYnck, who have worked so hard to get to this point. Flame spots out one tucked into the cubby, and he will get that kill onto aNdu as a result. Haven't actually seen one player going in towards mid by himself. NEOFRAG on the jump spot will get caught off by fejtZ. At A, bomb site's completely open. Bomb carrier by himself in T spawn. flameZ is in pursuit. It's a foot race right now. And it's going to be won by eku.
Oh, Watts is up close, and that smoke actually will keep him at bay. I thought he might want to go for a pick, but he's got a huge gap now. Huge gap. Should surely take degster and does, but fejtZ's there. Insurance policy again. It's eku and cons, and eku only has that deagle, of course, with that bomb. Trying to get into position to plant it, and flameZ is actually double guessing himself at what he actually wants to do right now. And cons had a chance to take down fejtZ, but now fejtZ, there's no way he picks that one again. They, of course, now know the whereabouts of cons and that AK, that biggest threat. And with 45 seconds and only a Molotov and a flash.
Bomb carrier is going into flames.
And with the bomb on the floor, that should call an end to this round.
Yeah, they were hoping that because Cons was actually able to make his way through snipers, that the bomb carrier would be able to rotate across as well. But flameZ played his hands so wisely in that situation. Really patient. He had information that there was no plant on A, so why would he commit to the flank at that point? He's locked them in. He's closed the door. And the gatekeeper will ensure there's no way out. 15-14. OG have done the job of taking this the distance. Cons will save his AK. That's going to be their only AK coming into the final round of regulation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering what they want to do with this buy. I think they have a tactical timeout. They should most certainly use it now if it's available to them to discuss what they want to do, because the problem is they can't even... Oh, I want to see, honestly, so they have 3 rifles. I'd actually prefer to see 2 players drop a Galil. So they have AK, Galil, rather than just Tech 9s. I know Tech 9s can be very hard to deal with if they're coming at you quickly, but I think the 3 rifle strategy could be a bit of a better one. But at least they have good utility with that choice. It's sort of a 50-50 call. I don't mind it. It's just sort of my personal opinion. And now the final round of regulation will get underway. NEOFRAG going super aggressive, and he hasn't seen the player in the smoke. Watts is hiding inside it, and I think he knows that a player's walked past him. They're just going to wait for it now. That's the question. No, they're not. They're just going to burst in toward B. That's a big frag from aNdu, but niko once again recovers the situation, and he gets himself another kill as well. No. 3 for niko on the hold. fejtZ is 1v4. He's got that AK. This is so difficult.
Mate, this would just be a remarkable clutch, but it seems impossible. Walls closing in on him, stuck between a rock and a hard place, doesn't even begin to describe it, and there we go. flameZ will finish it off fittingly. 27 kills to his name, 27 for niko as well. Certainly one of the heroes. The slate has been wiped clean. We're back to square one, and all of sYnck's hard work to get up to 15-11. now means nothing, Trav.
I got a feel for them. I do got a feel for them. I've my heart has grown accustomed to the ways of sYnck in this qualifier, I will say. Covering the underdog story is always... I mean, us British people, we always love an underdog. It's the classic story. And it's been great to see them play so well.
Yeah.
But how do they deal with it now? Because flameZ is feeling it. niko is feeling it. A good response from aNdu. And flameZ could get caught off guard here if eKu goes through this smoke. Especially with a player toward chair as well. He has to go aggressive. And there we go. 4v3. It's a chance now.
NEOFRAG in a good position. He's actually really struggled over on the say bump side throughout the CT side so far. Had a tough time in regulation, but at least he's able to get a kill here. Needs more though. It's only an even numbers game as things stand. And as for the OG players, they're just split right now. Pretty much everybody left to their own individual ability. fejtZ on the timer. Oh, so much damage done. Not going to result in the kill. The HE though does finish off the job. Only just meets its mark. niko will look to lock down the B bomb site. fejtZ at least trades 1v2. Plant will come through. Round very much alive for the sniper.
Oh, this is so difficult though. He hears the jumping towards short, and now he sees the jumping towards short, but he's been baited out by it. Thankfully, he's got a Molotov to keep him at bay a little while longer, but now he has to basically guess where the other player is coming from. He has no information whatsoever. He's now got eyes on stalks, looking for these final two players. It's fejtZ and NEOFRAG, and he guesses NEOFRAG perfectly, and now he's got the sightline toward fejtZ. This would be huge from fejtZ, holding the perfect position, and he gets it done! fejtZ with a huge clutch, and sYnck retake the lead at 16-15. That's Counter-Strike for you. Match points or map points in a row. And guess what? They win the first round of OT.
Man, that is a beautiful clutch coming through though from fejtZ. Essentially a 1v3. I mean, the first kill was a trade.
Yes.
But then afterwards, I love the gamble, Trav, because he kind of clears in towards markets and he doesn't see or hear anybody. And he decides to just hard hold that angle in towards apartments. Player steps into his scope and he knows the remaining players coming through from catwalk. So composed from fejtZ to win the first round of OT for sYnck. Oh, bad miss there from degster. Thankfully, flameZ is in position to keep his captain or keep his teammates alive, and flameZ will double down.
Bailed out. And degster could even get this kill toward Palace as well. Player has to cross.
Oh,
It's
no.
another miss. degster's been a bit rough ever since he was 13-3, actually, in the first half.
Yeah,
Not been as
true.
clean. Sure, he's at 22-19. That's absolutely fine. But overall, I thought it'd build up to a bit more than just that. flameZ now has hit 30 once again. That's 2 maps in a row. He's hit that 30 mark, obviously, a bit before full 30 rounds in the previous. But 30 and 20, just as impressive at this stage after 2 big kills in mid again.
How do sYnck recover this? You got fejtZ with that AWP. He was the hero of the previous. He's looking to try and find a kill to alleviate some of the pressure on that A bomb site, to create a bit of space.
Nice.
And he's taking flameZ down, peering above the smoke. Kill comes through, and now he's trying to pressure that B bomb site. He wants to potentially force somebody out into the open. NEOFRAG's hearing these audio cues though. Looks like watts is prepared for him to be underneath Palace. 30 seconds. He's hard holding this angle. If NEOFRAG steps out, he's a dead man. watts steps into him, and he's a dead man anyway. 5v3 turns 3v3.
Oh, bomb on the floor though with 20 seconds to go as well. And now a 3 versus 2. fejtZ is going to have to run this one down. Looks for fejtZ, but it's a Glock against an M4. Now watts, 9 HP. Nade comes in. degster gets that one done. He hasn't managed to hit an AWP shot in that round, but he gets a frag with the nade anyway. And we're back even again at 16 apiece. sYnck will at least be very happy they managed to get one in this
Did you see
situation.
that, Trav?
What happened?
Okay, they're fine. aNdu bought the M249 by accident. That's why he spent $7,400. Thankfully, someone was able to drop him an AK.
Okay. All good.
Because that gun's like, what, like... that's
5,200 gun.
There we go.
And it's terrible. So, never buy it.
It really
Only if
is
you want to troll
the
people on
worst.
matchmaking when you've got so much cash just to show off, that's when you should buy it. Only time.
Literally only for BM.
degster.
degster has to hit the shot. Going to be a double P coming through. And he does connect. That's going to be baiting his teammate in. NEOFRAG falls off the block. degster has actually got all 3 of the kills. Are you kidding? I didn't realize he got the second. Welcome back to the server, brother.
Crazy, isn't it? After 3 or 4 missed shots in the previous round, he hits all 3 in the following. It looks like OG are going to at least glean a 2-1 in the first half of overtime. Big round from degster.
And that's huge for OG to pick up 2 rounds on their CT side based on what happened in that first half. It was, what, a 9-6 halftime scoreline for OG going into their CT side? And imagine sYnck get eliminated from this closed qualifier without winning a map, and they were able to get as close as they have against both Cloud9 and OG. That would just be heartbreaking for them, man.
I mean, just think about the rounds. I mentioned it multiple times yesterday against Cloud9 on Ancient. They had 5v3s, 4v2s, multiple 2v2s that were very, very close rounds that could have gone either way. And in this map, they've won a number of those, especially on the CT side. A couple on the A-bomb site that they got done in very close fashion in 1v1s, and now it's them to go back onto CT side. OG have the T side to try and close this one out. Of course, 12.5k start money, the nice happy medium between 16 and 10.
We just quietly shifted to 12.5, right? It's something everybody asked for years.
Yeah.
And then it felt like it was actually the tier 2 tournament organizers that started to implement it first, and now it's kind of filtered into the highest level of the game as well, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Major also MR3 12.5k?
I think so. Rules? I'll have to check.
Okay. Normally, guys, I just ask Trav anything about Counter-Strike, and he's got all the F1, Counter-Strike, a bit of snooker I've seen as well.
Bit of tennis as well.
Tennis, yeah.
Maybe even a golf every now and then.
You got a few soirees, Trav.
I know. When you have a few passions in your life, you tend to let it engulf your life, including Counter-Strike, of course.
That's number one.
It is.
17-16 OG back on their T side. Remember, guys, they started their T side up 7-1 inside the first 8 rounds of regulation. At that point, we were kind of like, all right, sYnck, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
You guys have done yourselves justice. But they had a great fight back. They were actually up 15-11 on their T side. Couldn't finish off the job. They then went on to win the first round of overtime, courtesy of a 1v3, to be fair.
Absolutely. So we've got a little bit of, I think, a technical pause this time rather than a tactical pause. So I'll take the opportunity to run you through some of the results currently going on.
Good idea.
On the other streams, A, B, and C, of course, are currently in action and live. Spirit, 14-10 up on Fnatic in the other lower bracket matchup. Whoever loses that has gone from the chance of going to Dallas. So that could be going to a third map decider, which I do believe is Ancient. On the A stream, we've got Astralis versus Godsent. Godsent took map 1, of course. The roster now with Draken and Plopsky, with Golden coaching, of course, former Fnatic player, and Cloud9 player, actually. And Astralis are 14-5 up on map 2, so that should most definitely be going to a decider. And decider in that series is Ancient as well. And Cloud9 versus NIP. Cloud9 took map 1, but as we mentioned earlier, every single game seems to be going to a third map. At some point, all of them were. But NIP are currently 13-6 up on map 2. That is Vertigo. And if we do go to a decider, that one will be Overpass instead. And of course, Cloud9 and NIP literally did just play the other day in the Blast Spring Showdown. And that went the way of Cloud9. And when it was Overpass for them, they won 16-10. So I'd favour Cloud9 on that third map decider if it gets there, which it should do. But here, we could be on the edge of sYnck being eliminated, which is a shame, because for them to be eliminated without winning one map after how good they've looked would be a bit hard done by.
Yeah, absolutely, especially considering the positions they've been able to get to, and they've poured cold water over their campaign, and they've also spilled water on their keyboard, apparently. That's why they're paused right now. And the problem with that is if you've knocked your entire glass of water over the keyboard, that could break the thing, right? I mean, I haven't done that myself, but a drop here or there is fine. But if you spill a whole glass, you have to unplug it, like take all the keys out, put it in the sun, let it dry out. Can't just dab it with the towel and keep going. Maybe you have to plug another keyboard in.
Yeah, I mean, I do wonder whether he has a spare one. Of course, they are at LAN boot camp right now, so well,
should be a box, right?
There should be something there, you'd think. But of course, that is an awkward one. I personally never have water or any liquids anywhere near my keyboard, because taking that gamble, to me, is idiocy. I cannot risk that.
At least they're drinking water, I will say
drinking
that.
water is important, like but I have my water on my shelf, like to the left of me, out of the way of the
Fair
keyboard.
enough.
So, in fact, I'm
will
going
say,
to drink right now.
Yeah, me too. I've got my cup. You're making me thirsty, Trav. And everybody watching, take this opportunity to hydrate as well, guys. Yeah, like I said, though, rather spill water on your keyboard than Red Bull or something with sugar in it, because Monster, for example, right? That's just going to make things sticky. As sYnck find themselves in a sticky situation. 17-16 down.
Indeed. Right, we're back underway again. Water has been cleaned up. That wasn't too long a break. Thankfully, the keyboard seems to be working. And we'll get started once again. OG need 2. sYnck need 2 of their own to reach a second OT, or a clean sweep of 3 to win the map. 19 the magic number.
Don't expect a clean sweep of 3 from sYnck. So if they're going to win it, I reckon it's going to have to be through a second set of overtime. They need 2 rounds to make that happen. OG going to look to keep things as simple as they possibly can here and make their way in towards the A bomb site. Wait, what? That's a leg shot. fejtZ is legged, but he's got the kill. I'm very confused right now. Either way, it's a man advantage for the T side.
That's a ridiculous entry. Look how aggressive flameZ has gone. He's behind that Molotov.
Oh,
eKu, oh, he taps one through the smoke, but it's not before the bomb goes down. So there shouldn't be any risk now for OG.
Yeah. I think I've figured out what's happened. fejtZ doesn't hit the leg shot on the player crossing. It's fejtZ who's coming out of Palace. And he takes all that damage fighting the Palace player.
Yes.
It was just simultaneous.
Also, it was very, very similar damage that you would have if you did get legged.
Exactly.
So,
eKu, 1v3. Time ticked away though. No life left remaining. degster buries the AWP bullet in his brain. He's very much alive and well on the server once again. And with that series points, Trav, they're in pole position right now.
yep, they are in pole position indeed. And I do wonder whether the stuffing has been knocked out of sYnck. They need 2 in a row to send us to a second OT. OG, of course, with everything they could want. Cons trying to fight for his life, but look how blind he is. Awkward. And look at their second flash, though. That is a really good reface from aNdu, knowing that they're still going to be blind toward mid, but degster wins his duel toward watts. That's a big one. aNdu needs a second, you would think, to make this round a possibility. In he comes, gets 1, and he gets both.
Wow.
Brilliant from aNdu. That aggression is wild, but it works out for him.
Yeah, never expecting that, but I suppose he had support coming through from Catwalk, and he had a second teammate behind him, so he could afford to make that play. Now it's all on degster. AWP jumping around, forcing them off the angle with the flash. They don't need to peek into him yet. That would just be asking for trouble. They know where he is. They've got control of the bomb. And they've got the perfect setup. degster, another flash over the top. Will be blinding up. The cat player blinds up both, but can't hit the shot in the first. Huge round out of aNdu. That's a quad kill, Trav.
Yeah, and he's the man that I brought up before we started against Cloud9 yesterday. He is a bit of a monster on the sYnck side. I think he's the top highest rated alongside fejtZ.
Yeah,
that's impressive.
For sure.
fejtZ is the AWPer. And yeah, it's actually interesting, and we mentioned it before, didn't we, that fejtZ AWPing on this team. He's been a rifler for quite a lot of his career, but taking up the AWP in a roster full of his countrymen can do both to a great extent. He's going to need to do more here. Positioning himself toward Palace. Does fejtZ pick into it? He does. It's a dink, but it's a dink through the wall with the AK. So fejtZ will survive, but flameZ and niko get 2 kills in response. And now pressure on fejtZ is big.
Still very winnable for sYnck. Look at the HP. niko's low flames straight through the smoke. fejtZ wasn't even blinded by the flash, but he gets destroyed. NEOFRAG's found aNdu. It's all on eKu. This is winnable though, Trav. 1v4 turn, 1v3. Couple players still low here for OG, but degster's alive. He's posted up on the angle, scoped in. He's been hitting his shots. Misses this one off the jiggle though, so at least eKu's able to close the gap, but now they know where he's coming from. Nade not going to impede him. He doesn't really have
information isn't great on these final 2 players. Goes for the dink, at least hits both and gets the spray transfer. And now 1 versus 1, but niko is coming in behind. This should surely be unannounced for eKu. 1 bullet either which way will do it, and niko refuses to show himself. Leg spotted, and OG get it done. Only just. Oh my goodness, what an attempt from Eku. Respect to him and respect to sYnck. But OG will squeak through the qualifier, at least in the lower bracket, and will just about keep themselves alive.